Hey everyone, welcome to S'mores on the North Sunday Crew Edition. I am your leader, Ben. Joined with me as always is Ryan. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm feeling pretty good, Ben. I just have to say that I don't know what it was about this past week of the Schmodown, but all the stars just happened to align at the right moment. I mean, whether they burned bright or it was dying, collapsing on the inside like a black hole. There were just so many stars that were happening, and if people don't understand what I'm doing with these constant stars references, then I'm sorry. What the hell are you tuning into us for?
And that's fun. So I give him credit for that. Because you're really proud. He always makes a good fun like that.
As long as the puns are timed rightly. I mean, normally for me, I do the whole CSI Miami thing to where I just start seeing something normal, and then all of a sudden I just go, well, it seems this star has a bright future. Yeah! Yeah.
Nice. So let's get into it. That's not just Wednesday, Matt. So, Claudio Dolph versus Christy V. What are your overall thoughts about this match?
Despite what many people think of both of these two, Christina, I'm not calling her Christy unless, she comments on this video and says, Ryan, start calling me Christy. I'm like, okay, Christina, I bow down to your whims. But other than that, Christina and Claudia, they did very good in this match, honestly. Look, hey, Christina. Oh, man, now I'm wondering if she does want me to call. Do you want me to call you Christy throughout this entire thing? Because I definitely will. But as I was but before you pop up with another comment, Ben, I will say both these Christina and Claudia did very good. They played very smart, and they were I mean, look, of course, breaking down this match, a lot of people are going to say that round one wasn't the best, but look, after getting your second match for Claudia, who hasn't played in a year, and Christina, who hasn't played in a couple of months, they did show that they still have a good wherewithal and knowledge to be able to maintain a very close lead, honestly. Because looking at the end of it, it was only a 1 point difference for Christina going into that second round. And she and Claudia, they were really dead. They were really nipping at each other's heels, and they're playing the most professional game amongst each other. And I give 100% applause to that, especially knowing that they are being repped by both Roxy and Shannon, who we all know have probably one of the most intense and almost shaky rivalries that we've seen in the Schmodown.
I don't know who is Roxy and Shannon or welcome for Scott Maps from all the way back in the day.
Honestly, I think they've eclipsed Roca and Mance regarding the rivalry, the smart, the sharp wit, and the smack talk between the two of them. Roca and Mance was just more of like, I want to beat you at your best game. It was a competitive edge between the two of them. Roxy and Shannon, they're clearly playing 3D chess over those two guys who are just playing 3D checkers.
Yeah, I mean, and right now, I think the two top rivalries are Shannon and Roxy and KO and um, Chandru. Would you agree with that?
You do have a point there. Although I would say the rivalry with Mike and Chandru, it's more like two warriors who've never got a chance to face each other first. It's nothing but smack talk. Like the constant tease was there, like early on with Ben Bateman when he in the season when he teased about being an Innergeekdom and he wanted to go after Inman. That was what it was like. Like I'm coming for you. I'm better than you, but we never got a chance to see that happen. But with Mike and Chandru, we are going to see that. But I still think it's Roxy and Shannon because of their abilities as managers. Where Shannon, she holds that winning the faction wars last year over Roxy's head. Well, Roxy, she holds more of that she's able to coach and manage her players much better, at least subjectively, over Shannon. And honestly, in this match, this was a play between to see how Roxy and Shannon both managed Christina and Claudia, and we did see that going into this second round, how they did a great job making sure that both Claudia and Christina just shook off what happened in that first round, not to let it play into their heads going in the second. And we did see how it affected their performances. I mean, seeing both Christina and Claudia do very well in the second round, although Christina being able to maintain a strong lead, I will say. She maintained that lead over Claudia.
Absolutely. And like you said, well, Christina got disaster and Claudia got Paul Newman. What do you think of the categories and slices?
I was amazed. I really was amazed, though. Claudia being able to do very well in Paul Newman at first until she checked down a couple of times, but Christina being able to really navigate disaster movies very well. I mean, I really thought that they were gonna throw in some like obscure disaster films, like some classic 60s or 70s disasters, like we've seen in some past Schmodown matches to balance out the constant 80s to 2000s disaster films that become pretty much popular in the genre. But even then, when it came with the coaching, or when it just came with seeing how they worked, how they were doing, when Christina was not sure of an answer, she did the smart play and went down to multiple choice. And with Claudia, we did see that she took more of a risk, and sometimes it benefited her and sometimes it didn't. But it doesn't, but like I said, it's not going to shame them. They played this like a straight professional match you'd see in the Schmodown.
It was a great round two and a great match. Most of them really surprised me. You're right with the disaster movies and Paul Newman. They both knew their stuff. They might have to shut down their multiple choice, but they were able to continue and power through into that round three. What did you think of that round three?
Well, with round three, actually, hold on. There was one Paul Newman question I do remember that kind of threw me off a little bit. Jesus Christ, it was her third question. Oh yeah, the Cold War thriller. That one. Her third question. Paul Newman, who directed Paul Newman in that Cold War thriller, Torn Curtain. I'll be honest, going over Paul Newman's filmography, that one just went over my head. That was just like Paul Newman was in a political thriller that was, and it was like because one thing with Paul Newman, just like with some of the other actor slices, it's really difficult to. I mean, when it comes to plot-based questions, when it comes with actor slices, you really want to be like, be back and forth and up and down. Know this like the back of your hand. But every now and then you'll forget who's the director of this person was, especially 60s and 70s directors, because I think personally, it wasn't really around the time of the 80s and like in the 80s where directors really started to eclipse actors. So
I wouldn't say the 90s were the director's time, in my opinion. That's where directors shine.
yeah, and that's kind of one of the tricky things, though, because in the 80s there were so many directors, and the 80s were very experimental with their films, just like the 90s as well. But it is kind of a good argument to say that in the 80s it could have been more of a time for directors, because the fact they were so experimental, and the fact that the 80s there's more cult classic and cult following films from the 80s than you will see in the 90s, but it goes back and forth either way. I guess what I'm trying to say with that Paul Newman question was that even though Claudia went to multiple choice on that, it was still a smart move, because even someone like myself who only knows maybe 5 Paul Newman films off the top of my head, that would have been something to where like I literally could have just pulled a rabbit out of the hat for getting that question.
Right. Yeah. I mean, good on you for getting it.
But like I said, it was still. But I keep saying that to myself. But like I said, but as I mentioned before, Christina and Claudia played very smart. They came from their first matches and played like true veterans of the game, to where you don't have to worry about how much did they expand on their knowledge. I mean, if one thing I will take away from Sabrina Ramirez's match against Clete Wiggins, Sabrina said you can have hundreds, thousands of she says she's done very well in mock matches, but once you get to the main stage, it's really like a game of chance. You just really have no idea what questions are going to be given to you. And I do applaud Christina and Claudia for really navigating very well. I mean, but getting back to you regarding the third round, I was so sure this was Christina's when Claudia had missed her 2 in her 3-pointer. Like I thought, oh my God, Christina is gonna get a TKO. She's gonna get her first win. I was so ecstatic. But when she got that "What about Bob" question, I'm just like, no! Why couldn't the question have been Why couldn't the question have been phrased harder for Claudia?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing against her, nothing against Claudia. I just wanted Christina and Roxy for the win, and of course, kayfabe wise, my kayfabe hatred for Shannon. So I'm just like, let Corruption walk away with a loss. Give Corruption a TKO for once this season.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been nice, but that wasn't in the cards for this match, I guess. But
I mean,
like you
all
said,
congrats to Claudia. All congrats to
Hmm?
Claudia, though.
yeah, like you said, they both played great. I can't wait to see what they both do in the future. These are 2 women that are going to have long, long careers, I know, and they're just starting up. I can't wait to see what comes next for both of them.
Study Up is just more of like it's just it really just falls down to reviewing like every good athlete, and I say this as athletes because these Schmoedown players have shown that they are great mental athletes. Like every athlete, they just look at the gameplay, they look at the game footage, and then they just study and break down exactly where they need to focus up on. I mean, for quarterbacks, when they watch their gameplay, it's more that they need to focus more on being more focused in the pocket after a snap from the huddle. For basketball players, it's more maybe trying to get better at 3-pointers or better at catching rebounds. Even when it comes with hockey, and this is to get back reference to a good acknowledgement to our brothers of the Schmoes of the North. When it comes with hockey, sometimes you just need to focus on how to control yourself, how to work on your balance and your speed on the rink, and especially for goalies on that hand-eye coordination, on focusing on where to prevent either a forward or someone on the J line from shooting a goal on you. And that's as further as my hockey knowledge goes.
Absolutely. Hey, Taco.
What's up, Taco?
How you doing? So let's move to the second match. Again, it's Roxy vs. Shannon with Whitney Young vs. Clee Williams. What are your thoughts about this one?
Well, that one, just like with Christina and Claudia, this also was a very good match as well. Although Brittany, it was obvious she came to play, and no difference to Clee as well. But it seems that the magic that Clee has had from the Black Cinema match the first Black Cinema match this in February, to her match against Sabrina, I think it was starting to run its limit. But still, Clee was able to at least play at a good pace for herself. I mean, sure, Brittany got perfect. She got perfect in round 1. Got that bonus question. Yes, exactly. Brittany was just on fire.
Absolutely. It was Brittany's game and Clee was only there to play along.
I mean, for that first round, you can say so, and then included into the second round as well. But even then, Clee was staying within a point for Brittany until that fourth question to where the tide started to change. But even then, Clee did maintain a good, strong. If Brittany had missed a question for the perfect round, it could have been a 2-point game. But she ends up getting that. She ends up getting that perfect round and making it a 3-point game going in. And that's still, I think, even then, what I always like to believe, what I truly believe when it comes to Schmoedown matches, 1 point, 1 question always makes the difference. Whether the point value is 1 point, 2 points, or 3 or 5 points, because you have no idea how that tide's going to turn. But yeah, going into that, Brittany on fire. It's like Mario Kart. It's like in Mario Kart. You get that star, you're invincible all the way through the racetrack. While Clee, she keeps getting nothing but red shells and green shells.
Yeah, I mean, well, in round 2, Clee had bad luck. Let's call it what it is. Clee was opponent's choice. Whitney gives you the 2000s. What are your thoughts on this?
I thought it was it was obviously very smart to give Clee something broad like the 2000s, because it's 10 years of movies. You have no idea. I think giving someone a decade slice is very smart because you are still because of how broad it is. Just like how broad directors, dramas, comedies, romance films, war films are. As much as you want to say that you are great in these categories or are on these decades, there's still the broad aspects of it to where you will get pulled a question that you weren't a film that you have not yet seen yet, especially for 2000s she when Clea had gotten that holiday question. I mean her first question she did great in, but then when she had gotten the Public Enemies question about Johnny Depp, the Johnny Depp and Christian Bale film, that really was kind of a toss up because that film's basically a play on history of the care of the robber of John Dillinger, but still. Just like with Claudia and Christina, if she was not sure of it, check down a multiple choice. Brittany, unfortunately, she misses it, which allows Brittany to steal. But even then, Clee was at least able to continue. Oh wait, no, wait. I'm sorry. She didn't. Brittany didn't steal anything from that round. Clee just constantly just kept checking down the multiple choice, and she was able to at least get that 3-point lead. I'm sorry. I keep thinking. I keep thinking of the previous week's matches of where there were steals galore. But there was actually that's one thing I need to touch on. Chris, the steals. I'm sorry. This whole week, which we're going to jump to sooner or later, only steals that happened was in the teams match. Both of these singles matches, there was just no steals alike, which I thought was fantastic. It shows complete wherewithal, great knowledge, and of course, good strategy from Clee, Brittany, Christina, and Claudia.
Yeah, and it shows how not when you have no steals, it shows the players know their stuff. They might not get it right away, but they know their stuff.
Yes.
And they might need multiple choice sometimes, but they know that stuff. And so Brittany, it's Brittany's turn. She gets John Hughes. What do you think of this?
I mean, what else is there to think? She just dominates that slice. No second thought, no opportunity for Clee to give Clee an opening to steal. It was just simply just like in that first round. And to reiterate Taco's comment, she was just on fire. That it's like that invincible star that you get in Mario Kart or in any Super Mario Bros. Game. She had an unlimited amount of time with that star to where 2-point question John Hughes. This question nails it. This question nails it. This question nails it. I mean, at this point, I would be like PJ and Mark just going, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. And I will say it's amazing that PJ Campbell was on desk for this match, knowing the fact that he is well known for writing a majority of those questions. You think that I would have loved to have seen a surprised look in PJ's face where like, oh, this is a good question. I think I got them. Like, what? You know, just to see him have a little freak out moment.
I have to wonder though. Maybe since he was on the desk, I wonder if he didn't write any questions for this match.
I personally don't think it would have mattered because I know PJ's not the lone question writer, but I'm pretty sure that there may be 10-20% of questions that he had put into this match against Christina and Clee. I mean, against Brittany and Clee. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I just had to ask. So,
but it was a good question to ask, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be asking the same thing. Like, did PJ write some of these questions, or the fact he got to host was because he didn't write any questions?
right. So, round 3 comes. It's 14-17. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 14-17. You're right. No, it's 12-17.
No, it's 12-17 going into round 3.
But she gets that 2-pointer to make it 14-17.
Right. Clee gets the 2-pointer, but sadly that's not enough. She gets her 3-pointer, she misses it, and she gets TKO 17-14.
I will say one thing: the 3-pointer question, even though it was clearly an Oscars question, is in that title card. It said it was a Matthew McConaughey. It was from Matthew McConaughey, which was funny.
I know that there was wait, no, that is not from this match. Never mind.
It's a small nitpick, honestly, because this match was flawless. To be honest,
Yeah, they both played great. Whitney was on fire. She was hungry.
mm-hmm.
I think she knows her game. But as of right now, I couldn't see her being in a singles tournament coming up. Can you?
I can too. Or whenever Christian wants to start this tournament, I can almost see Brittany getting herself matched in a race to become #1 contender before the tournament even happens. Because yes, she's 2-1 right now, but she has a win over Jericho. She has a TKO victory over Klee that could bump her up to where whoever she plays next, she could maybe play in an opportunity for a #1 contenders race. But there are still some competitors. There's still some rookies who are at least who are undefeated at this point, like Rick Rager, like Griffin Newman, like Josh Carpathian. So it wouldn't surprise me if I see Brittany go up against any one of those three gentlemen.
Okay, I have a question. Last year, Brittany was in the dungeon.
Yes, she was.
And Roxy had Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Now, draft happens, and they swap. Who do you think and do you think Roxy got the better end of the deal with Whitney than Kaiser did with Jericho?
Honestly, we're going to be wondering that why Kaiser picked Jericho for the longest time, and no matter how much Kaiser wants to explain why he picked it, it just goes to show that at least with Brittany, right now with her getting Brittany, Roxy got a match with Brittany this season, and Kaiser was not able to get one with Jericho. Like I said, this does fall, but like before, most of this falls down to scheduling. It all falls down to scheduling. But even then, it was very curious. I do think that Roxy did a smart play getting Brittany on her team because we saw exactly how good Brittany is. I mean, sure, she lost against Jader, but even then, seeing how that she had this strong personality, this strong love to play trivia, and rewinding back to our episode when we talked about Clark Wolf, she was a part of Clark Wolf's team for that little special Glow exhibition match. Right. So even then, Brittany had that strong knowledge and competitiveness to play movie trivia. So Roxy getting Brittany, it definitely benefited her 100%.
Don't forget, I think Holland announced on Twitter a few weeks ago, Roxy got Jericho back.
Oh, believe me, there's no chance in hell I was going to miss that news.
Yeah, I think Roxy won that swap because she ended up with Wolf and Kaiser ended up with nothing.
I mean, Kaiser's still #1 in the faction ratings, though. So him looking a player who he never got a chance to have a match with, it does hurt. But, and this is no disrespect to Jericho, but at this point, looking at the grandstand of what Kaiser has right now, it's it barely scratched. It barely made a dent in what Kaiser is doing. Right. But for Roxy, having Brittany on her team did help her a lot. Getting that TKO victory, handing Corruption that -1 points to raise themselves even higher in the standings. Sure, Corruption is still chasing like within that top 3 within the faction standings, but the Stars are no longer like within that bottom section for right now. They're definitely along the middle, and depending on whatever matches the Stars have coming forward, how the singles, Inner Geekdom, and however the tournament season is going to help, right now, with this win with Brittany, it has given Roxy, I believe, more confidence on who she wants to put in that singles tournament.
I just remembered, too. Don't forget, we're still getting a Star Wars tournament.
No, that's correct.
Can't forget who is going to be in that tournament this time for the first time.
Oh, we know without a doubt who's going to be in that damn tournament.
Damon. Do you think Damon is going to prove for everyone in that tournament?
Yeah. Well, okay, I just double checked the standings this season. The Stars are still at the bottom though, but they are tied right now with Swag with 11 points. But
funny
Right.
you should say that because of that match.
Yeah.
It's just known as Chris Mag. Why don't we get into that?
Let's do this.
And it's Chaos Theory, Holly and Jacoby with Pop Chris, Vinny McCruza with Jen Kemp. What are your overall thoughts about this match?
I was a bit conflicted here, honestly. Obviously, I know Jacoby. I was definitely giving a lot of definitely rooting for him, without a doubt. Although I was unsure about Nick Harley, honestly. I mean, I've seen him in the FCL. I see what he was able to accomplish there, but he had 3 matches there in the FCL. But not taking away his championship, the championship match he played in, he's a good player. But as a singles player, yes. But I was unsure of how he'd be working in teams, honestly. And Jacoby, he's gotten that good experience working with Janine, with Blackjack. He's already 1-for-1 in singles, so we know where he stands. But I wanted Jen Kemp to get a win because I'm definitely a big fan of hers. I guess it was just more of like kind of like with her and Rachel Silva Sweeney. I want them to both get wins, not because they need it, but because they deserve it. Because of the personalities they give us, and I want to see more, female stars in the Schmodown. Pun intended.
Well, okay, let me ask you real quick. While we're talking about Chaos Theory, with Holly and Jacoby teaming up, is that one way or does that confirm or deny or do nothing to the possibility of Janine and Snyder continuing their team?
I think it pretty much it seals it, honestly, because we saw, looking back, if people do rewatch that Odd Couple and Shazam match, Shazam played perfect, yes, but the Odd Couple kept it so close.
Right.
Only difference was the round 1. After that, round 2, betting round, speed round, round 5, they were 100% point for point on. They were literally like putting the pressure on Shazam to make sure that they win. So Janine and Jeff, it's a no-brainer, honestly. Jacoby was it was kind of difficult for Jacoby because Jacoby, that loss against Griffin Noobs, was not sure exactly where his direction was going to go, but still, I saw Jacoby having like a good, strong future in teams, a bright future in teams. And since he has gotten that little match with Blackjack, like having that experience there, he pretty much, shook off all of that. And we saw exactly where that performance went with Chaos Theory.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do believe that Chaos Theory right now, I think it was definitely 100% smart on Roxy to pair those two together.
Yeah, I have to say I agree. They really worked well together. I mean, look at the round 1. 18 to 15 going into round 2.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on round 1?
I mean, what thoughts can I say? It's going to be short and sweet. They went perfect. Although, other than Vinny, who missed 2 questions, Jen, Jacoby, and Nick all went perfect in that match. And Jen, being perfect, was able to help keep a 3-point differential because she had missed questions. This would have been either a 4-point or maybe even a 5-point lead for Chaos Theory, meaning that Pop Quiz would have had to have gone perfect in round 2, get every question in round 3 in order to at least get so close of a victory. But that round 1 kept the team alive. And we saw exactly how it played out, too. I mean, well, round 2, Pop Quiz got hurt a little more, but still, they kept it at least very competitive.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. So let's talk about that round 2. Yeah, let's talk about that round 2. You have Chaos Theory at 18. No. Yeah. It might. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Nope, don't worry about it, man. It's completely fine.
Chaos Theory got DreamWorks and Pop Quiz got Ed Harris. What are your thoughts about these categories?
Oh my God. I don't know why. I mean, I feel for what Pop Quiz is saying. I mean, look, Ed Harris, he's a good actor though, but I had no loyalties to him like PLD did. So and they were smart to spin away from Ed Harris, honestly, because you have no idea what you were gonna get with him. But they get the opponent's choice and Pop Quiz, yeah. I do like the chatter between them because they had a plan on what they wanted to get Pop Quiz, but then it did feel kind of like a spur of the moment situation to where they disrespected Ed Harris. Let's just give them it because they spun away from it. And look, if you're also in that seated position too, and you see, and honestly, we've seen this so many times. A player gets a slice they don't want, they spin away, they get opponent's choice. 50-50 or 75 or 80% of the time, that the slice you're going to give to your opponent is that exact same slice they spun away from.
Right.
So to me, it was like I was thinking, just stay in your game plan. Give them something that they may not be good at, but the fact they give them Ed Harris, it did help them because they end up getting a 1 point. They end up getting a 1 point steal from. They end up getting a 1 point steal from them.
Right. So, yeah, and Pop Quiz got DreamWorks, right? Yeah.
Yes, they did. DreamWorks Animation.
Okay, so the points I wrote down are wrong. Well, what did each team get at the end of round two? I'm sorry.
The score?
Yeah.
It was 29-26 because of that 1 point steal they got off of Pop Quiz from Ed Harris.
So, Chaos Theory got 29, right? No.
Yes. They spun first. They landed on DreamWorks on the second spin. And watching Nick and Jacoby work together. Oh no, but Pop Quiz did get a 2 point steal off of them because of the Trolls World Tour question.
Okay.
So we did see there a little bit of, I won't say weakness or dysfunction though. It was just more of, you heard that question of who starred Justin Timberlake, Kelly Clarkson, and Anthony Lopez star in this animated film. And obviously with if people follow the Trolls film, Justin Timberlake is most likely in all three. He's in all three of them. So I don't know the word, but it starts with a D. You had to deduce which one Kelly Clarkson was in because she's a more recognized name. And then Anthony Lopez, unsure as well. So it did make sense to go with the first Trolls film. But if you do think of Trolls, you should also think of Anna Kendrick, who's in those Troll movies. So actually, I think Anna Kendrick would have made the question even harder if you add her in there. Because then you had to put in 3 Trolls movies.
Right.
So the question was still written smartly, but yeah, Jacoby ended up going with Trolls. He misses it, which gives Pop Quiz. No, wait. No, they went to multiple choice. Yeah. Because he was unsure about it.
Right.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I said it before. I was correct. It was a 2 point steal. Jacoby went with Trolls. Then when we got to Pop Quiz, Jen was the one who said Trolls World Tour, and then they got that 2 point question. Sorry. Yeah, like I said, I'm running the scenarios in my brain right now. I never take notes when it comes with these upcoming matches. But even then, Nick and Jacoby dominated. They dominated DreamWorks. They got 5 out of 6 questions, 10 points from them for that 28 to make it 28 out of that first round. So all they had to do was, and then once they gave them Ed Harris, it was kind of smart because all Pop Quiz either had to nail everything or they kept going to multiple choice. So it really was a 50-50 scenario for Chaos Theory. And I believe Nick and Jacoby were very confident in themselves to get to that third, to be able to nail the third round, which they end up doing. But even then, seeing how for those first three questions in Ed Harris, how Jen and Vinny were able to work that out, it almost made you think, did they make a mistake giving them Ed Harris? But then, of course, they missed one question, which led to that 1 point steal. So it was still very smart. But even then, they missed that penultimate question. And if they had just kept on going because they were 2 points, all they needed was a 2 point question to tie it, or when they went down to multiple choice, keep it a 1 point differential. So seeing how Jen and Vinny were able to work together very well in that Ed Harris question definitely plays to Winston's skills as a manager on how he was right to pair these two together, and also shows Jen Kemp is definitely a player not to be overlooked whenever the next draft season comes along. Whatever happens with Swag, Jen Kemp is somebody you need to keep your eye on. And right now, we do know what she can play in 3 divisions: singles, teams, and geek.
Right. Yeah. Whenever you have somebody playing in 3 divisions, there's a question that, best case scenario, could you see them going up for 3 belts?
Well, it's with the pool of players we have now, it wasn't like last year to where we saw the possibility of Mike, Rachel getting the opportunity to become 3-belt players. It's gotten so much wider and the pool is more deep that you have to be a very big fucking shark in order to get to be the top person. I mean, Dan Murrell is still in that contention of being someone to get 3 belts because he is still holding on to that singles title like he's a miser with a goddamn lockbox chest to it he's not letting go. Him and Ben came close, but corruption just played better than them. And whenever he does decide to jump into Inner Geekdom, look out.
Here's the thing. Is he going to jump into Inner Geekdom this year?
No, I don't think so. It's kind of a little too late at this point. I mean, he could make his debut in the Inner Geekdom tournament if Kaiser wants him to, but Mara is not done. Mara is not done.
Here's the thing. I don't think, depending on where he ends up next year, I don't think he goes for Inner Geekdom because, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong. Hear me out. In my mind, Dan and Ben are here at the dungeon for a while.
Well, I don't know about Ben, honestly. I mean, I do believe Ben can still be at the dungeon, but seeing how right now with this run this year, he joined them because he wanted to work with a faction to which that can complement and strengthen him. But from his match against Irwin, from that team's match, he's worked with Dan. I don't think he's at his best, honestly.
Okay, so that is Dan. Dan is in the dungeon for a while. You go with me for a second.
Well, to be honest, Ben and Dan are definitely players worthy of retention. Honestly,
right,
Kaiser. And look, if the announcement of when Kevin Smith comes back, that's going to throw a lot in the tool in the tank there.
That's what I was getting at. With Dan, Mola, and Smith on the faction together.
I would take that over Ben Bateman being one of the top 3, honestly.
No, me too. But my point is, if Kaiser, Mola, and Dan are on the faction together, Dan is not going to go for Inner Geekdom. Not relation to me.
I almost say that even Mara may not even be a main player in Inner Geekdom if Kaiser ends up drafting Parker again. Because I draw this back to the draft. When people were criticizing that he didn't get that Kaiser didn't draft a Star Wars player earlier on, he did tease that Mara could play in Star Wars. So let's say end of this season. Yeah, let's hear me out here. Let's say end of this season, Kaiser chooses to retain Mike. He chooses to retain Dan, Kevin, and Mara. And then by luck in the draft, he ends up getting Parker back. I think Mara would play in Star Wars in season 9.
Well, here's the thing. He can't retain Smith right now. He's not playing.
No, I'm saying if Smith decides to return, because
I know. Well, if he decides to return, Kaiser will have to draft him again.
No, he wouldn't.
Have one draft.
No, he wouldn't. Because JTE last year, JTE was part of the Droogs, and that fell apart. And then during the free agency, JTE was selected, reached out by Finstock to join him. Just like with Drew Green. Last year, Drew McWeeny retired, and then he came back to be retained by Sam and the Suspects. So technically, because during that little free agency retention, the managers can reach out to whoever they want to and offer them a chance. So
okay.
who was not played last year or who was not in retention. I see where you're going, Ben. I really do. I'm just saying, Kevin comes, if Smith comes back, that is a big fish that Kaiser cannot ignore.
No, you're right. I forgot about all that. I'm sorry. I forgot.
No need to apologize, man. No need to apologize. Look, this has been an insane year so far, so I really don't blame you for forgetting that.
My point is, if everything happens the way it should happen next season, the Dutchman is going to be one scary team to go up against.
Okay.
With those top, 5 players, 4 players? Although, you bring it back to what we went over yesterday on Mount Schmodown, 4 players with 4 Eagles, that's dangerous. That can be a ticking time bomb ready to go off too.
Yeah, but I think with Kaiser, he has he knows how to work with volatile. He knows how to work with volatile elements where I think it would work, especially him and this is the drawback to if Smets returns to play next season, he and Kaiser already have this great working relationship to where if he's on the same team as Mara, Ben, and Dan and Parker, Smets has already worked with Parker in the past. So that quells that. And Mara, at this point, she's there to play the way she wants to play. So she's not going to be a very combative ego. Ben Bateman, on the other hand, he would be the wild card. He would be the volatile element that we don't know what to expect. Because with Dan, it's more of, if you're going to manage me, you manage me to a victory. You're there to support me. Dan knows what he wants. Ben, he is still that person to where I have no idea what he wants from a manager, what he wants from a player. To me, I feel like Ben works better when he's not with a faction.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like Ben will end up somewhere else. I don't know where. Maybe the Suspects, I couldn't see that. But if Kaiser gets those 4 players, Ben will end up somewhere else. I don't know where.
Well, Kaiser does the same thing what Shannon did with Kate last year, except a trade.
Yeah, that's an option too.
Until then, it's like, yeah, he just gets his 3 to retain, and from there on in, it's just kind of like every manager. They're making moves. They have to scout. They have to decide exactly what to work on. But to bring ourselves back to the teams match with Chaos Theory and Pop Quiz, I was definitely impressed. I mean, Vinny obviously didn't have the best showing here, so this was definitely Jen's match in my mind.
Yeah.
Sure, Nick and Jacoby showed that they can work together, but to me, Jen was the MVP here on how she was able to work with Vinny to really get themselves out of a hole that they were in, going from a 3-point differential. It was still the same 3 points for them the first and the second round, but there were different factors going in on how Jen was able to at least keep that different, keep that separate. But then by that round 2, Jen and Vinny were able to work together to where they came so close to maybe making it a 1-point gap until they missed that Ed Harris question for Jacoby and Nick to steal. I know after this, Jacoby and Nick are going to go over DreamWorks animation again, or animation films in general, because this is the second time DreamWorks animation has stunted Jacoby. And I'm not saying it's a weakness of his, but it's just more of a situation to where with the number of animated films that's becoming even more and more expanding in DreamWorks, it's now getting to the point that you're going to have to start looking at voice casting a lot more in depth now, a lot more critically, a lot more objectively, instead of paying attention to who the big stars are attached to it now.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see what tournament decision happens. It's going to be interesting to see what pieces do each player play for all the factors.
Yeah, and I do want to say with Ryan's comment about the teams tournament, it's still unknown if it's 16 yet. That's all I wanted to bring up, man.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay,
I hated to interrupt you. I just wanted to bring up that comment.
No, that's a good question. If I had to guess, and just 100% pure guessing, it's going to be 16.
Yeah.
What do you think? If you just for one or another.
I do kind of think it's 16 because Harloff, now that he's able to, because the fact that he's already hyping, the fact that we're getting our live show in October, and with the Scum and Villainy tape shows, he's gonna test the waters on how many teams matches, or I don't know exactly what's been confirmed. All I know right now is that we're getting Irwin and Merle on the first for that show, and then Kalinowski versus Chance on the 14th. Who knows what other matches he's going to be able to schedule in Scum and Villainy? He could be scheduling team matches. He could be scheduling Star Wars Inner Geekdom singles matches.
Yeah, it's very curious.
It's like that. It's that the temptation is just too great to ignore, honestly.
Right, and finally we're getting studio matches back, and I can't wait for the storylines to get picked back up, and we're in the golden era of the Schmoedown right now, and it's only going to get better, and I really like talking about it every week. It's really fun.
You are correct. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. This is truly a golden age we've had. I mean, as much as Christian has been back and forth with the digital era, it has helped it has helped widen, it has helped grab more attention of fans out there. And I really hope he really stays to doing a mixture of studio and digital matches to continue pushing out this content that he's been giving us.
Absolutely. So, are there any other overall thoughts you have about last week? Anything?
Well, honestly, to say that without a doubt in this multiverse of the Schmoedown, one thing remains is that this past week, the stars came out to shine. But no, this was definitely Roxy's week to remind everybody out there why she is a damn good manager, and also to let everyone know that the stars may be down, but they are not out. Tournament season coming up, all it takes is one big change. Corruption showed that last year. I think tournament season is going to be possibly one of the biggest volatile changes that we're going to see. It could really truly shake up the faction standings.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to see it. So on that note, Ryan, where can everyone find you, my man?
Well, everybody watching live or on the rewatch, you all can definitely find me here on the Schmoes in the North channel. On Mount Schmoedown, as myself and Ben, we go over careers of Schmoedown legends or great players past and present, as we do ourselves a good analysis and breakdown of their careers and matches, charting their growth and their impact in the Schmoedown. But for right now, for this month, throughout July and in August, Ben, myself, and a collection of special guests, we're going to be talking about the factions that's become now pretty much a big staple in the Schmoedown. Yesterday, we talked about the Finstock exchange with our friend Soda, and for the first time, a man who was constantly we've seen in so many live chats, Leo Logan. And I know this upcoming Saturday, the following Saturday, we're going to be talking about the usual suspects.
That's going to be fun, and I can't wait.
And Ben, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Ben_Radio on Twitter. You can find me all over this channel every Thursday on Shooting the Breeze, every Friday on Recapping the Past, and every Saturday morning on Get Ready on Top 5 show, where we count down our 5 favorite things. Yesterday we did on Top 5 Alien Planets, It's always a fun time to check out that video. And for everyone at S'mores of the North, this is your Sunday crew. We do Ben signing off. I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Stay ready.